Hello and welcome to this video. Today I thought I would do the Anti TBR tag, which I believe was created by the channel Nicole and Her Books, and is a video I enjoy watching other people do, as it's all about books that they wouldn't read, which is something that interests me. So I thought I'm gonna do it myself. I've watched a lot of these now. I'm gonna give it a go. I wrote what are they called, the prompts, the questions down a while ago when I thought about doing this. So I do have them in my Squishy Rex notebook. So if I look down, that's what I'm looking at. But I've not actually prepared for this when I've sat down to film. So if I have long thinking time, I'll cut that out, don't worry. I have Jeff next to me here. So it's possible he might make some noise. The tumble dryer's on, so you might hear that because it just keeps raining, and Pete's doing some DIY, so you may hear that. So it's all a bit chaotic, but hey ho, when isn't it chaotic? Start, shall we? So the first prompt, the first question is, popular book that everyone loves that I'm not interested in. What am I not interested in? See, I find that quite difficult because I'll give most things a go. I'm not that selective. There are obviously genres and things that appeal more to me, but if a book came into my possession that was just free, I would give it a go. So let me have a think. Right, I had to pause because I really did have to think for that one, and also Pete started drilling, so if he carries on and you hear that, apologies. I have gone for Atlas 6 by, is it Olivia Blake? I mean, I don't really know what the book's about. It just, yeah, when I've heard a few people talk about it, it's never appealed to me. Just, yeah, no, it's just not something that I'm gravitating towards. As I said, I found it very difficult to think of a book because I'm quite fickle, I guess, and will just give anything a go, whether it's up my street or not. If you saw my recent book haul, you'll know a lot of the books that I've got for free are not necessarily in my normal wheelhouse, so I am open to things. It's just, yeah, I'm not sure even if that one was on a free bookshelf I'd pick it up. I might read the back, but then go, yeah, not for me. So I'm going to go with Atlas 6 for that one. Let's hope the next questions are easier. So, 2. A classic that I have no interest in reading. Oh, there's a lot of them. I'm not a huge classics reader. I have a number on my Kindle, and I tried, I think it was last year, to read a classic a month kind of thing, and I tended to struggle. There were a few that I did enjoy, but one that I'm not interested in at all, well, there's probably about 3 of them I can think of off the top of my head. Moby Dick, I don't care about the whale, sorry. Crime and Punishment, Anna Karenina. Those 2 are long, aren't they? Not for me. Won't be giving them a go. Won't even be picking them up to give them a try, unlike some of the other classics. 3. An author that I have no interest in / problematic. For this, controversially, I've gone for Colleen Hoover. If I do say something about a book that you love or an author that you love, it's no shade to you, it's just my personal opinion, and I feel like Colleen Hoover might be one of these. But I read Verity and was pretty disappointed with it, to be honest. I thought it was a bit dull. It wasn't what I was expecting at all. I was expecting a lot more from it to be a lot more tense and all of that kind of stuff. And although there may be 1 or 2 other books that I may consider, I don't think I'm going to bother, because I don't know, I just don't think that they're going to match any hype that I have, and the way that the internet frames her books seems a bit problematic, because if I'm right in thinking they're all a sort of slightly toxic relationships, but then everyone's saying how brilliant the romance and all of this kind of stuff is, and that doesn't sit very well with me, and it's not something that I particularly want to buy into. I've also heard that obviously her books have lots of content warnings, but Colleen Hoover doesn't believe in them, which is fine for her, but lots of readers and lots of people don't want to go into something that they don't know whether it's going to trigger an event or something like that. So not ideal. So as I'm probably going to say a lot, if I happen across one for free or someone just gave it to me kind of thing, I would read it, but it's not an author. She is not an author that I'm actively going to seek out. Number 4. An author that I've read a few of, but no more. I would probably say for that one is Marion Keyes. So you won't be able to see, but just above me I've got a few Marion Keyes books on this shelf here. The one just out of shot. And in my sort of early 20s, I really enjoyed Marion Keyes' writing. I thought her books were great. They were full of sort of like families, and there was a lot of twist to it and all of that kind of stuff. But then a couple of months ago I read Grown Ups, which was one of her, it probably wasn't a new release, but to me it felt like a newer release. But she hasn't come any further. She's still writing like she was 10 years ago, and I found that troubling. Some of the concepts that she was using and talking about felt very outdated, and just the book itself felt outdated because it just was that of the early 2010s, late, you know, like 2009 kind of thing, and we hadn't moved forward. So after reading that book, it has made me think about rereading the ones I've got on my shelves already and see whether I need to keep them, because they are quite chunky. So if I could get rid of them, then, you know, space. And I don't know, it just didn't sit very well with me, Grown Ups. And because of that, I now don't think I'm going to be picking up any more Marion Keyes. Because, to be honest, there are far better authors at the moment. A genre that I have no interest in or have tried and couldn't get into. For me, I'd probably go with sci-fi for that one. I don't think I've read any sci-fi books. Or if I have, I hadn't noticed that they were sci-fi. I don't mind the odd element, but typically things set in space, things of a science fiction nature, not to my liking or interest. I probably wouldn't gravitate towards those, so sci-fi is likely the genre that I would go for that one. That or horror. Hate horror too, because I'm a wimp. I don't know how I would fare with a horror book compared to a horror film, but I can't do horror films, so I've never really picked up a horror book either. A book that you've bought that you will never read. That doesn't exist on my shelves, because if I've bought a book, or if a book has been bought for me, it will get read at some point. Now, the oldest book on my TBR is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and I bought that in January 2022. So we are over a year old, but I will read it, and I'll probably read it soon because it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable that it's been on my TBR for that long. So watch out, I think that's coming in a video soon. But all the books that I have, I'm going to read them. And I am also a person that I am going to read all of them. I'm very bad at DNFing. Even if I'm hating a book, I have to finish it, because what if the ending redeems itself? Which is possibly one of my toxic traits, but I will force myself through it. So that question is more difficult. If we're looking at my Kindle, then possibly there are books on there that I won't actually get to. As I mentioned, some of the classics, some of the non-fiction that's on there, but a lot of that, again, I have come across for free, so I don't feel quite so bad about not reading those because no money has actually been spent. So yeah, so there may be stuff on my Kindle that I won't read, but I see that a bit differently to actual physical books. Question 7. A series that you have no interest in reading, or one that you've DNF'd. So, as I've just said, I don't DNF, so there won't be one of those, but a series that I'm not interested in reading. Possibly the Ice Planet Barbarian books, which I believe are like big on TikTok. They're like alien smut. I possibly wouldn't pick those up because I like smut as much as the next person, but I do like a story to be with my smut. And from what I gather, not a lot of story in those books, an awful lot of smut. So maybe those. There's probably some fantasy series like the Poppy Wars and stuff like that that I'm unlikely to pick up. And probably loads more that I haven't even thought about. But yeah, no, those are probably the ones that I would immediately pull out of my brain for that question. And number 8, a new release that I have no interest in. I'm really bad at keeping up with what the new releases are. I tend to read everything in paperback, so if it's not in paperback, I'm kind of blinkers. I don't really know that it's there, unless it, you know, does the round on the internet or something. Oh, coughing. So I had a quick scroll in my little break while Pete was drilling and stuff of what some of the new releases have been this year, and 2 sprung up there that I don't really have any interest in. And one I have heard people talk about, the other I haven't. The first is a romantic comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. I read Prep a while ago, a couple of years ago, by the same author. Although I didn't mind the story, I absolutely hated the writing style and the length of the chapters and things. So I anticipate this book will be the same, so I just don't think I'd get on with it, so I won't be looking at that one. And the other one, I can't remember the name of the book, but it's the Tom Hanks novel around the film industry that's come out. Again, I've read the short story collection by Tom Hanks and I didn't get on with his writing style in those, so picking up a novel by him seems like a stupid idea. In that respect, as much as I like Tom Hanks as an actor, I don't think I do as an author. I have also heard some questionable things about his novel, but it was a while ago, so I can't actually remember the details of them. So those are the 8 questions in the Anti TBR tag. I hope I haven't offended anyone too much. I believe I am supposed to tag people, but as I'm very small and most people have already done this because I am yet again late to the party. If you haven't done it and you're interested, feel free. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this relatively quick fire book tag, which I may do more of if there are ones that appeal to me. If you do have any comments or any thoughts on what I've shared in this video, do put them in the comments below. I'll be interested to hear what you would have thought about some of those, or whether you disagree with my selections there. If you haven't, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. I do a monthly book wrap up and then the odd other book video here and there, along with vlogs every Sunday pretty much. And yeah, if you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up and I will see you in the next one. Bye!